So go ahead and see, I had your consultation up real quick. But Ashley, go ahead and fill me in on I'm sorry, what is your dog's name?
It is. Hold on, let me flip.
Are you gonna show me?
There's Aspen.
Aspen, that's right. Aspen.
Hi. So Aspen was born October 26th. I rescued her and her brother, and I found a home for her brother, and I fell in love with her. I have two little Yorkies, like a 3 and a 5 pound. And she's kind of the first, not like she's large, but she's 25 pounds. She's totally well behaved. I mean, she's amazing. I mean, she pulls a little bit on the leash when I'm at the park. You know, if there's other dogs, sometimes she won't listen. Like she'll leave the park, like just basic training things. But there's no like behavioral or any problems, like anything like that.
Okay. Anything else I need to know about Aspen?
No, she's a husky chow chow mix.
And she's how old again?
She was born October 26th, so like 6.5 months. She'll be 6.5 months. You train, or you maybe I think it's you. You train my friend's dog, or was it just I don't know. My friend Heather Robb referred me, and then also I live in Lincoln Park, so I'm at the park with the owner's girlfriend and Luna, and like everyone at the park. I feel like uses you guys.
Heather Robb, Heather Robb lives all the way up, and she lives up there.
Well met.
I worked with Heather Robb, and then you said who was the other dog?
Luna. Well, I live in Lincoln Park, right by the owner's girlfriend. So everybody at the park is kind of, has the e-collar. I can't remember all the dogs' names, but
yeah.
There's Luna, there's Rolo, there's
probably Nash and Shadow.
Yeah, Nash, Shadow. Yeah. Oh, Nash. Aspen loves Nash. We call her that, her boyfriend.
Oh, nice. Yeah. None of those dogs really had any behavioral issues. It was all just kind of like the general obedience.
Right.
Luna was more towards like behavior because she's a little like timid dog, so it was a little more nuanced, the training was. But Heather Robb, Max, the little guy, general obedience, and then he has a thing where he like chases shadows and everything.
Shadow chaser.
Yeah. Yes. But yeah, that's it's cool. Like when the word spreads around and everything like that, it's really cool to hear. Anything else I should know about Aspen, or is that pretty much the gist of it?
No, she's like kisses every dog. She's so friendly. She's amazing. So no, I want to be able to. My goal is to be able to walk in the city with her at some point off leash. I want her to listen to commands, especially because I have the little 2 Yorkies. I need her to be, obedient.
Yeah. What commands are you looking to learn, or like what are you trying to accomplish with Aspen? I know you said off leash, but to go into more detail, like what do you really want? Like what are you wanting?
I don't want her, like when we're at the park, to just run out of the park after other dogs. Sometimes she sees a dog that she likes and she just runs out of the park. What else? I'd like for her to if I say sit or, something like that, like her to sit or heel or, like just general commands. So if we're walking, she doesn't pull on the leash, you know what I mean? And if I'm talking to someone, I can put her in like a comfortable like sit position.
I see.
Okay. I think anything else. My husband's out here too. Anything else, Robert?
No. So.
Or like when she picks up something she shouldn't eat, like, get her to drop it.
Or when she drinks that shit water.
Oh yeah, we went to Wiggly Park this weekend, and they have those little baby pools for the dogs, and one, like these dogs were soaking in it, and she went up there and took like a big like lick. Oh my God, she was so sick last night. I'm a physician, so I eventually had to give her like human anti-nausals because she was just, it was, so just so that if I say no or whatever, however you do it, so that she doesn't like drink the water and then get super sick.
Of course. Okay. And hearing from all these people and everything, I'm assuming you did like the research on us, and then you're aware that we use e-collars, prong
Yeah.
collars, all these other tools. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any question? Well, I'll go into e-collar. So e-collar, or right now, what do you walk Aspen on? Like, what does he use a harness or for her, or do you use a flat?
I was using a harness, but I got this. Oh my God, it's so pretty. I'll just show you. I got this collar. So she's a stylish little girl.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I walk around.
Okay. So that's good. It's better than a harness because harnesses promote pulling. Even if you see like the little like stickers on this says a no pull harness, it's an oxymoron because huskies use harnesses. There's harnesses used in protection training to create dogs to be aggressive and be frustrated. So those are what harnesses are used for. The flat collar is good just because it's just better than the harness, So
Which are like, because I noticed when we go on the 606 and walk like 7 miles, and she was pulling so terribly with the harness. When I switched her to the collar, she pulls a little, but not terribly.
Yeah. Because some owners would want to use the harness with e-collar, and that wouldn't work because you're having a tool that's telling her to not pull, and you have the harness, another tool that's telling her to pull. So it's like it's confusing for the dog, So that's good. You've been using the flat collar, but now it's just getting her in control and everything, and you're just looking for general obedience. I think were you the one that Heather was saying that she also had, I don't know if it's maybe she had another friend, she was saying that you were interested in like the board and train program or something like that.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I was wondering if someone at the park had said that you have like where you drop the dog off for 2 weeks and you guys train them and then I take lessons. I was just thinking if it coincided with like a business trip or whatever, maybe.
Oh yeah.
I could do that. I'm also doing both or whatever you think is best. And I also had a question. I don't know if this is possible. I have a 3-pound who's really well behaved, but I have a 7-pound Yorkie that's 12, but she's so anxious. Like she barks at, she's small, so it doesn't, but she barks at every dog when she have a dog or like a dog stroller. Yeah, she barks at every dog. She's just so anxious. And I didn't know if like, cause she's so little or also cause she's so old, if it would even like, if it would work to try to train her.
It would work. It's just like you said, she's 12 years old. If you want, it's like, it's just that's up to you at that point, if you would want to address those behavior issues now.
Like the e-collar, I feel like, is that behavior like when she's barking at every dog? Obviously it's like fear related. I guess I want your opinion. Like, do you think that it'll help her have less anxiety, or is it just gonna, or is
She's been doing it since she was a puppy.
Yeah, she's been doing it since she was a puppy. Like, do you think this would be helpful? I want what's best for her. I don't want her to be like so anxious all the time.
Yeah.
Like we go up to the dog park. I know it's fear because I years ago I tried to work with another trainer, like based on the clicker and positive treat reinforcement. But like when we would get up close to the gates at the dog park, she would be like foaming, it's really fear-based.
Yeah. It sounds like anxiety is anxious behavior because like the drooling and everything. It's just, there's no dog that we have been in a situation where like, oh, this dog can't be on e-collar. Deaf dogs, blind dogs, little dogs with anxiety, old dogs with anxiety,
Do you find that it helps?
Yes, correct, yes. Because
okay,
she's looking at a dog, right? And she's creating an idea in her mind, right?
Yes.
So when we're addressing it. We're giving her something. We're like touching her with the e-collar. So it's like she's looking at a ghost. Are you really going to be so focused on this ghost, or are you going to actually respond to something that's actually touching you? Does that make sense? Because
Yeah.
e-collar is it's physicality. Dogs thrive on physicality. So if Aspen was bullying one of your Yorkies, maybe one of them would have snapped at him and be like, hey, you don't do that around me. And Aspen's like, okay, I just don't do that, you know? So
Right.
they deal with things through their mouths, they release stress, they release anxiety with like the drooling, the heavy panting is stress, the barking is frustration, correcting dogs with their mouths and biting is just consequence. Like, right, because if and what's your Yorkie's name?
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Hmm.
If Aspen walked up to Brooklyn and was like pawing at Brooklyn, Brooklyn would probably yelp or something. And if he kept doing it, he'd probably snap, right? I don't know Brooklyn that well, but let's say if annoyed, he can get annoyed to the point where he might snap, right?
Right.
So there's no like, hey, they don't walk each other through things. Like, hey, if you stop pawing me, I'll give you a treat. Like, dogs don't give each other treats. It's just, you're gonna do this, you're gonna get that for that behavior, right? So that's why we get so much success with e-collars, just because it's their language, right? It's what they understand. So right now we had 2 daycare and trains, and like one of them was all over the place, super overstimulated and just trying to like just walk everywhere he can possibly can, right? By the end of our first session, he was just in the heel position where it's like walk with me, stay with me, and sit when I stop. He was right by my side, sitting when I stopped, and just turning with me and everything, right? They get it so quick because again, it's their language. We're going on a certain level on our remote to where they are like, okay, I need to focus, right? Or else this is going to be annoying me and I can't have this annoying me the whole time because I need to turn it off, right? So e-call is physical. Um, it's Have you ever been to a physical therapist?
Yeah. Hmm.
So it's a TENS unit, like they put it on your muscle and
Yeah.
like yeah. That same technology is e-collar. So it's just a muscle contractor. I believe when physical therapists are using it, they're going higher, higher, higher until the client says that's enough, and they put it two levels down, and then they'll let the machine do its work. I think that's how I do it, but that's how we do it with the dogs too. So if Aspen or Brooklyn, you know, we don't know their number right off the bat, just looking at the dog, right? Because our brand of Dogtra, it's called Dogtra, has 127 levels, right? 0 to 127. Other brands might have 10. So think of 10, the power outage on 10 is equal to 127, right? We just have 117 more breaks so that we can be more specific to the dog's personality, the size, the behavior, or the scenario, like the situation we're dealing with. So when dogs are like, for anxiety, we're settling the brain because he can't snap out of this anxiousness, right? He
Right.
can't snap out. So the only way to snap out is to override the brain, right? So let's say you had a prong collar and you gave him a leash pop, and he sometimes dogs need more than a prong collar correction, and they'll still be in that mode of like anxiety. So that's where with e-collar comes in, because we have enough power to override the brain to kind of snap him out of it. And he's like, whoa, it's like almost like imagine if if we were young again, we had like the sneaking, we had like the secret party, right? And then like we get that call like, oh, it's mom and she's coming home now. Like, oh, we got to clean up everything. And like that one friend's getting anxious, like, I gotta do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get in trouble, my mom's gonna say this. And then one friend's like, boom, like, hey, let's just clean up, we'll get it done, it'll be okay. That's what he needs, just like a little like a snap to kind of bring it back down from that anxiety level. So that's where it comes into play with anxiousness. And it's also just unhealthy for dogs to be stuck in that mindset for such a long time, because it's just unhealthy. So that the e-collar definitely helps dogs calm down. Another example of it calming down is like in the car. Sometimes dogs have car anxiety, and then we use the e-collar for that, and like they'll just like lay down, like they'll fall asleep. Like we snap them out of that mindset, they just they usually just like fall asleep if they're somewhere stationary. Do you have any questions, and do those things make sense?
Yeah, totally. So what are the programs what is the, for Aspen, what is the, like, in like 2-week boarding, like what is that all, what is that?
So if you wanted to do, since you're dealing with behavior, right? I mean, not behavior, obedience, right? You just want the obedience. Board and train would work fine for you. We have 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, and 4 week programs. So the reason why I ask, like, what are you looking for Aspen? Like, what are you looking to accomplish? Is kind of just to see how much time we need with him. Think of the 1 week program as basic, just getting him to the foundation of things with a short leash, and that's it. The second week is short leash for that first week. The second week is we use a 30-foot long leash to kind of advance his obedience, advance his commands, right? The third week program is short leash phase, long leash phase, and then that third week we put him in like a playpen of dogs, or like we put him in a playpen of dogs without the leash, or the leash is dragging and there's dogs around him, and we're advancing his obedience in that aspect. And then the fourth week is off leash, where we take him to like the parks and everything. We practice obedience there. And then just the longer he's here, the more advanced his obedience will be technically, right? So 2 week is like recommended for minimum, like that's the recommended. If you're wanting everything, right? So that's heel, stay, sit, down, place, common called, and emergency downs. That's the 4 week program. The 2 week, you'll get heel, stay, sit, down, place, come, all the basic commands. You won't get the emergency commands because we're not advancing them off leash. We're just doing like basic stuff, and then we advance them a little bit with the long leash phase, right? A lot of owners and clients usually go for the 2 week program. If they go for the 4 week, that's just up to them, because that's, if they go for the 4 week, that's because they take their dog hiking like a lot or something like that, and they're always off leash. With whatever program. Oh,
Okay, so I guess, yeah, I guess I'm not sure which one. I mean, I definitely would like the 2. I'd like to do the 4. I don't know if I can be away from it for 4 weeks, but I guess I could do that.
yeah. Like I said, it's personal preferences, like availability wise. Like, if, like you said, if
Oh,
you
I
want
thought about, so how often after the training, like, do the dog, I mean, I obviously I'm gonna have to learn it, right?
correct.
But is what's the success rate like of conversion from like with you guys to at home?
So we e-call is very transferable. So for example, if we're doing it in person and we're working with like a couple, partner number one will go first, and they usually do all the hard work because they're going first. Then they hand the dog and the e-collar to the partner number two, and when the partner number two goes, it's super easy. Like, they don't have to do anything. So e-collar is very transferable. That's why you get a lot of follow-up time. I think for 4-week program, you get like somewhere like 6 hours of follow-up time. So that's like 6 lessons. So you're getting it all, like, and you can schedule these follow-ups whenever you like. So let's say you go on a trip. Let's say you do the 4-week program and you go on a trip for 2 weeks. When you come back, you can schedule a follow-up in the middle of her board and train program. So you're more a part of the training and you're kind of like catching up, so that at the end of the 4 weeks, you're not slammed with all this information, and then it can get messy and everything. So you can schedule the follow-ups whenever you want. Because very transferable to new owners, or like, because the issue with some training programs is like, yeah, my dog listens only when the trainer's there. That won't happen, because when I press the button on 30 and you press the button on 30, it's the same. There's no like, oh, my husband has more control over Aspen, so she listens to him more than me. because I'm not as strong with the leash or whatever. There's none of that because it's just 30 is 30 for anyone who presses it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, so then what is the pricing and like what's the availability for
Yeah.
the 2-week program?
I had it up. Let me see. We also do payment plans. It's half down before the first, or is there a payment plan for the board entry? I can't remember. Or maybe it was a down payment, but let me see. Boarding. So for the 2-week program is 2,750.
Okay.
The 3-week is 3,750, and then the 4-week is 4,750. With the 4-week program, you get actually 8 hours of follow-up, and we record everything. So you're getting footage of the first time we put the e-collar on Aspen. You're getting footage of the second week, how we advanced training. You're getting footage of the 3rd week, how we advanced training, and you're getting the 4th week footage of us taking her to a park. Since Aspen is 6.5 months, because usually we start e-collar training in 6 months exactly. But since she's a puppy, technically, if you do the 4-week, that first week would be prong collar training, because sometimes the younger pups have a hard time registering like pressure, right? Or have you ever used a prong collar on Aspen?
No.
So the prong collar week 1 wouldn't be for you to use forever. It's just so that the e-collar training is smooth. So it's just not a new feeling right off the bat. So we trained a 4-month-old Doberman puppy, right? Now we did the first week with prong collar, and she was a spaz about the prong collar, but we worked her through it, and then she became like, oh, I just have to, I know what this is now. So then when we began e-collar training, it went very smooth. I'd imagine if we jumped right into e-collar training, she'd probably have a difficult time because it's something new. She's never felt pressure before. So the prong collar is just teaching pressure, the pressure concept, because that pressure is very similar to what the e-collar will be doing. So that's why we like to do that transfer, just to make the e-collar training more smoother and have her acclimate to it more better and become more comfortable with it. So actually, like the minimum for Aspen might be the 3-week program, but if you want to do the 2-week, we can do the 2-week because we can do it since she's over 6 months. But like, if you would like to have us kind of work her into the e-collar, so it's not something abrupt for her, you know, have her transition to it more smoothly and have her like just be more chill about it, you can do that. If you don't, we can still get it done in the 2-week program. It wouldn't be a big deal. She just might be a little maybe a little, how do I say, I don't know what the word is, but just she might need a little bit more work and more like food and more positivity in that first week. And it's not that we don't use food, we'll use food, but let's say we try using food and she doesn't want to take the food. So it might take her a while to acclimate to the e-collar. Does that make sense? And that has nothing to do with like what we can get done. We can still get all the commands done. It's just that she might be a little like anxious or.
Yeah, you guys do like what, I mean, you're the expert. So
Yeah.
I like however you want to do it, I leave that in your hands for sure. What are at night, like Aspen, no chewing. No. Oh my God, you little dork. She just chewed our water system.
Oh.
We have, okay, well, that's okay. All right, come on, no more. So at night, like the facility, like where does she sleep and things like that?
So we have like the main area, which is like where the playpen is, where the dogs play, treadmills, placemats, the front desk, and then like the training floor. And then behind there is like a carpeted enclosed area of like 2 rooms. We have 2 small rooms, like about office size rooms, and then we have one big room. So she'll be back there in a crate, sleeping. There's someone always in the facility 24/7 on the premises. So if he hears barking or like, dogs whining, he goes and
No,
fixes that behavior. But she'll be sleeping in like the back boarding area. It has air conditioning because it is getting hot now. So there's like the air conditioning back there.
like
Uh,
I could a blanket or like her little like or you do not suggest that like
we're
from home.
we're gonna we're telling owners to stop bringing us blankets
Oh,
and beds
COVID.
because no, not because of COVID. It's because dogs. Let's say Aspen has never chewed her blanket or bed, right? But then she comes here, she might chew it because she's under stress and she needs to let that stress out somehow. So
Oh,
sometimes we'll get dogs that eat the bed or chew the bed or maybe even like stress pee or poop on it, and then we have to like clean it and do all this extra
yeah.
work. So we're just gonna tell owners to not bring beds or blankets.
Okay. Okay. Go get it. Okay, well then I think we'll do the training with Aspen and then see how it goes. And then maybe I think Brooklyn, because she's so old, I think with her I'd probably prefer to do it like weekly, you know what I mean? And just progress with me there. I don't, unless you think it's better to just immerse her.
Oh, did you want to do 2 board and trains?
Well, I definitely want to do Aspen. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if I should do Brooklyn too. Like, because she's old, do you think she'd be better off? I would be better off doing it like weekly, or do you think that boarding her? She just has
Um,
boarded before, and she's 12.
is she crate trained? Are your dogs crate trained?
Want the truth? Aspen is in a crate when I leave the house, but like at night and stuff, she sleeps with me. So no.
Okay,
I mean,
but
like she'll go in a crate when I leave and she's fine, but at
oh,
night she's not.
but yeah, I mean, if you put her in a crate and you leave and you come back and she's kind of just there still, like she doesn't,
Fine. Yeah.
yeah, as long as she doesn't break out, then it wouldn't be an issue for us. Um, so I think it'd be fine. How about Brooklyn?
Um, she's never really in a crate unless she's in the car. Then I have her like buckled into like a little
Yeah.
little cage or whatever. Um, but you know what? Actually, I'm gonna do her like weekly because she has diabetes, so she gets insulin twice a day, and I don't know if that's even something you guys. And she has like a special raw diet. She's sort of high maintenance. This just developed recently.
Okay. So when you say weekly, do you mean you want to do the in-person program with her?
Yeah, but
Okay.
with Aspen, I think the boarding. I feel like if you say it's transferable, I could I could book it around Aspen. I could book it around like work travel,
Mhm.
um, and then just have her. So let me just come here, Aspen. Let's go talk to Robert. Let me just quickly. I'm gonna get his opinion. Really
Yeah.
quick. Hey, Robert. Do you think, can you turn that off for a second or turn it down? So we can either do a 2-week program, which goes over, I don't know if I'm getting this right, but I think that the 2-week program gets like get basic commands, right?
Yes, the 2 week is like just the e-collar basics, unless, yeah.
Now they have a 4-week that it's like off leash training. So she'll be able to walk off leash
Let's get that. I want her to be able to work up all of it, because
He,
we ever take her to Montauk or Miami?
yeah, he wants her to be able to walk, because we go to New York and Miami a lot, and we want her to be able to walk like off leash without a problem,
And on the beach.
and on the beach, and you know, we going to several homes. Do you know what like just make sure that she knows. So I guess the 4-week for Brooklyn, and I said for Aspen, I'm sorry. And then Brooklyn, I said we should probably do the weekly training, right?
Yeah, just see if she'll respond.
Like how long does it, well, I guess that's what you do with Max, right? And Max responded pretty well, right?
Yeah,
Max
she did.
Do you think there's a difference because Brooklyn is so old? Like, will it matter?
Age usually doesn't matter. It's just like the behavior we're dealing with. So as Brooklyn is more anxious, so he could respond differently than Max would or Aspen will. But I think Brooklyn will be fine. And then just real quick for the 4-week program is to get, to the off leash, right? The follow-up is to transfer everything to you so that you can do it, right? So some clients will do a board and train, and then they expect the dog to come out it's like when you turn a car in, right? And you bring it back, it's like a brand new car. Like that's not realistic for dogs. It's just, you need to transfer everything to you first, and then you need to practice and do the homework outside, because we can't, how do I say? It's a lot of like spending a lot of time with that long leash, because if you get rid of that long leash too soon, and let's say something happens that's never happened in your training, like let's say a firework goes off, and Aspen has never heard of firework, and you have no leash. Sometimes dogs are, as you know, are scared of fireworks. So let's say Aspen runs away. It's just, how are you gonna get him back? You have the e-collar, so that's where it comes in handy. But that long leash would also ensure safety. So like if you're next to a street, you have that fast pull. Then let's say pulls you, right? And the flat buckle breaks, or let's say that big collar breaks or something like that, right? You have the e-collar to bring it back. So there's a bunch of phases, and it's more nuanced to get to completely off leash, and it takes more time. But that 4-week is us getting it done, versus, because the 4-week, think of the 4-week program equal to the 12-week program for in-person. They're the same thing, but it's going to take you 12 weeks to do it, versus we can get it done in 4 weeks. Does that make sense? So the board train is just for to speed it up, and we get it done, and we have the solid foundation, and we're working and constantly with Aspen. There's like a lot of sessions throughout the day, because since she's boarding with us, and then in person. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, that's right. And then so when we pick her up, like, how do you train us? Like, do we come for a lesson before we pick her up, or?
So upon pickup, like tomorrow, our 2-week board and train leaves. I'm taking, her name's Banksy. I'm taking Banksy, all her belongings, to Oz Park. I'm meeting the owner there, and then we begin to follow up right there, right? Because I don't want any like questions or anything to happen before we start our lessons, anything like that. I'd rather have to follow up immediately upon pickup, so that you have some information when you go home, and you can start practicing like that. And you also have the videos too. So if for some reason you can't have the follow-up that exact day, you have the videos to watch, and then you can practice like that. But it's also good to just have follow-up. Sometimes owners don't schedule follow-up because they're already happy with what they have, and they've told us and everything, and they still have that follow-up time available with them.
Okay, so what is availability then for this?
It depends on your availability when you want to do it. We're getting a lot of board and trains and daycare and trains, just because board and trains because the vaccination's coming out. People want to, I guess, make up for their last summer, and they're all going out of town. So we're getting a lot of requests for board and trains. So it just depends when you will want to board Aspen, because I don't know off the bat, because I do the consultations, And then I hear them say board and train, board and train, board and train. I'm like, okay. And then I forward this information to our kennel manager, Kim, and she does all the scheduling and arrangements for that. So I'm not 100%. I can't give you the availability right now.
Okay. Well, then I think we want to do the 4-week board and train for Aspen. So, and then I'm going to think about, I'm
Sure.
not sure what I'm going to do with Brooklyn. I might board her, but I have a trip to Miami that I have to go on, and she needs to come with because I don't know if you guys know a good, like I go to the Royal Treatment and they're an amazing vet, but they try to do the swaddling and like teeth cleaning, but my little Yorkies, her teeth are so bad, but they want me to put her under anesthesia, and
What's going on?
she's diabetes and I'm not willing. Anyway, there's a French woman in Miami that I go to that swaddles them and uses dental instruments. So basically I need to take her to have her teeth cleaned since I'm going for business anyway. But so I would probably be looking at Brooklyn, like if I boarded a board and train, but maybe in July. Do you think 2 weeks is enough for her? Or you don't know?
It's just the anxiety, and she's reactive. And then what else does she show? Or Brooklyn, what else does Brooklyn, is Brooklyn a girl or boy?
Just really barks at dogs. This is Brooklyn.
Who gives her insulin?
Well, that I was gonna say, like, do you guys, because oh my God, I have to give her insulin now. She takes insulin twice a day. Is that an issue for you guys?
Is it how is that a shot, or is it like,
The subcutaneous shot.
oh, I don't see it being an issue.
Well,
We'll get,
maybe, yeah, fine. And then like if I give you special like diet, like food for her, that's fine too. It's just from the vet. She's to balance her blood sugar and stuff like that. She's it's got to be pretty strict.
so let's say you board her, and let's say she's so stressed she doesn't want to eat or anything. That could be an issue with her health. If she's not eating the food, we can't make dogs eat. We can't make dogs poop. We can't make dogs drink her water. That's just on them when they
Yeah.
become comfortable with the
You
environment.
know, why don't let's just sign Brooklyn up for like a 6-week training. Like I'll do it with her, like maybe starting in July or whenever you have availability.
Yeah. I yeah, that sounds probably better, just 'cause, like I said, like we had a dog that did not go to the bathroom for like, it was a long time. It was a long time. And then once they had to go, it was a lot. And then they went back to striking again. It was just like we can't keep having this,
Yeah.
it's pretty bad. So
She's
yeah.
she's pretty crazy about food. She'll eat anything, but I think it's better, less stress on her. She's 12, so I'll train with her. So we'll do the 6-week with her, and then the 4-week in facility with Aspen.
Okay. And do you know how big Aspen might get?
She's 25 pounds now, and she's really slowed down. So I can't imagine more than another 10 pounds.
Okay.
I think, unless something surprising happens.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so you're interested in the 4-week program. That first week would be prong collar training. The second, and then the rest of the 3 weeks would be the e-collar training, right?
Right.
What else? Any other questions?
No, Robert, do you have any questions? No, I think you did a great job explaining. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Real quick, some common questions owners have asked in the past is, for the e-collar, when does the e-collar come off, or like, is it going to be on forever, or is it just for the training and then it's done? So it's like a yes and no question. So let's say you're taking Aspen for a walk along the beach and you want her off leash or even just on the leash, you'd want that e-collar on, right? Because we can't predict what's going to happen on this walk, right? So like I said, for the example, like let's say you're walking on a busy street and a car crash happens, right? Let's say she's like just bolts and you're not expecting it, so then she slips out your hand. Well, you need to override flight mode. When dogs are in flight mode, they're literally thinking, kill or be killed. So no words, foods, treats, nothing will get her to come back to you when she's in flight mode. So you have that e-collar to overpower the mindset of that and to kind of override it to bring her back. Does that make sense? And then
Yeah.
let's say Aspen's an angel, right, in the home, then you don't need it. Let's say you realize that when guests come over, Aspen's very jumpy, right? You can collar her up 20 minutes prior, address whatever that needs to be addressed when the guests come in. And if you find that Aspen is usually relaxed after those few corrections you give her for jumping on your guest, then you can just take it off after and just keep doing that. You know, it's on when you need it, it's off if you don't. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Another question is, how come when I take the e-collar off, why does Aspen pull and do some certain behavior that she's not supposed to be doing when the e-collar is on? So we like to use an example of the owners or clients. I mean, do you guys drive on the highway, or do you drive on the highway?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you do the speed limit?
Sometimes.
Yeah. So then what happens when you and other drivers see a squad car?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
you slow
So
down. You're supposed to do.
yeah. So it's opportunistic behavior.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with the training, has nothing to do with the way you guys practice, has nothing to do with the collar or anything like that. It's just a nature thing. If we know that we can get away with something, we're going to get away with it, right? It's just we'll give you other tools and other methods to kind of address certain behaviors so that you're not so reliant on the e-collar, right? Does all that make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
See if I'm missing anything. Another thing is e-collar is a stressor, right? So no one likes being disciplined. They don't like it. So then what can happen is we can see Aspen's stress response, whether that be anxiety or some sort of stress, right, towards the e-collar. Now, e-collar isn't making your dog anxious. We're just seeing her anxiety come up because she's stressed. Does that make sense? So we need to keep since you want to do the 4-week, that's really good. So then we can kind of go over that hump with her. Once we get over that hump of anxiety, she's gonna be like, oh, this is what I have to do when I feel this. You know, it helps her. It helps a lot with the more time we have, so she gets more
Right.
to the e-collar. So that's really good. You'll be doing that. Does it make sense too?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So like in the videos, you might see a lot of heavy panting, like a lot of heavy panting, a lot of stress. And as the videos go along, you'll start to see that stress decline, which is what you'll notice as you go along the videos. Is Aspen social? I think. Oh, no, you said she's social. Yeah.
Oh my God, she loves every dog, every person. She kisses every dog.
So she'll be also experiencing the regular daycare activities. So like she'll be in play groups. We have treadmills here, so we can teach her how to walk on a treadmill. If we do a pack walk, she'll be going with the pack walk with us. We also do training walks. We take her to Home Depot to apply the training there. Because yeah, it's good we're training here, right? But the training methods and the commands mean nothing if we can't apply it to the real world situation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What?
That's great.
Yeah. I will send a follow-up email after this consultation, and in the follow-up, it'll be the program we talked about, the price, what a payment plan would look like.
We don't a payment plan. We'll just pay it.
Okay. So program, the price, a link to it so you can see more information, other things on the website. The e-collar I recommend for Aspen. Now we sell e-collars here as well. So what owners will do is like they'll say, yeah, just charge me for it because it's the same price. So when they bring their dog, we have the e-collar so we can just use it right away. You also have the option to purchase it yourself off Amazon, and you know.
So you guys can just do it. You probably know, but you do know better than we do.
Yeah, cool. And then we'll also send you a agreement type thing that needs to be signed before we start the billing and the booking process. So once
Okay.
you sign this agreement thing, then booking and billing can begin.
Okay.
Anything else? Any other questions?
I don't think, oh, and then also I wanted to ask, right now she goes, like, I just walk her over to Kreiser's for daycare just because that's where I was buying her food. But Nash's mama told me that you guys have like a service like that will come, like, I mean, then I'm talking after down the road, like if I did daycare a couple days a week or something like that. Do you guys have a service that picks them up and drops them off?
Yes,
Okay.
I believe.
We're on the street is, we're in Clifton is Nash and Luna and Shadow and
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure it's transportation becomes free with the training clients. So, yeah,
do you drop off Nash and Shadow?
do I?
Yeah. Or is that someone else?
Um, I've I've done it a few times. Everyone's done it here
Is
a
it
few
more,
times.
okay, maybe it's someone, is it Jesse? Someone does a lot. I don't know
Whoever,
who.
yeah, whoever picks Nash up in the morning is most likely Jesse. He has the glasses and all.
Okay.
Um, anything
Okay.
else? Oh yeah, yeah. Daycare can be done after, for sure.
And daycare is like you had I love Kreiser's, but I don't feel like there's any, they're just like playing. There's like no structure. You know what I mean? Like I would like them to take walks and have playtime and eat time and sleep time, and you know what I mean? So they
Yes.
come, sometimes I feel like she comes home and she's not tired. I'm
Oh,
like, what
oh, yeah,
there?
yeah. If they play all day, she's not gonna come home tired because she's still in play mode because she's been in that mindset so long. She'll come home with that mindset still. So here it's our play, our rest, or actually our activity and then an hour rest. So she'll be either playing with dogs after that hour in the kennel and she needs to decompress and rest. Then after that hour, she can do treadmill or another play group or just whatever goes along that day. Um, but rest time and crate time is very important for us so that, like you said, we don't send dogs home wired instead of
Oh, that's
tired.
what you, is if she's not tired, she's just wired.
Yeah.
Oh.
They say that again? Sorry.
I said if she comes home after daycare, it's not that she's all wired. It's not that she's been napping all day. You think it's that she's been playing all day and she's overstimulated.
If she comes home from daycare and it's like she has a lot of energy, like why? That's because she's been playing all day. But let's say she comes home one day and like let's say she sleeps. Maybe it was like, let's say it was a slow day at daycare. Maybe she was kind of like resting the whole time. Or maybe like sometimes dogs, when they're in that space of play all day, like they'll go and sleep themselves and like go in the corner and sleep. But then the issue with that is those are the dogs that get sent to us for daycare because the the daycare has been saying, "Oh, your dog's aggressive and snapping at dogs." Well, yeah, the dog is trying to take a nap and is being forced to play, so then they're going to start snapping. And with this snapping, it changes into like, "I hate all these dogs. I'm going to do it to everyone now." So once we correct the behavior here, because usually daycares don't correct behaviors like those. Once we correct it, and then we allow rest time, and we give them each other space and respect the dog's wishes. They're more like we had a dog here that was doing that same exact thing, and then here that she just started playing once we started to address these behaviors and giving her rest time and having more structure in the play. So I can't tell you right now how Chrysler's runs their daycare. I'm not aware, but what we do have structure here. All our employees are very knowledgeable about the e-collar, so we have the e-collar on if we need it, and we don't like we're all dogs are usually in the heel when we're transporting them, so that structure is still being transferred here to our daycare. So like we won't teach them bad behaviors. In other words, does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Um, any other questions?
No, I think it's great. You covered everything. So you'll just send me the agreement and I will sign it or whatever. And then And then we should be able to move forward from there, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Cool. If anything pops up, send me an email, or if maybe a new question comes along the way, feel free to ask me. But yes, keep an eye out for that follow-up email. And if that is all, it was very nice speaking with you, Ashley, and I look forward
Yeah.
to meeting Aspen.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you, you too. Have a great one. Bye.